To download and install Sentinel, please follow the link under this video. Then you will land on this website. It is available in German and English. Here above, you can switch between German and English. I will leave this here on the English version so that the English video will also see this content. On the left side, you will find all downloads from SIDI and Twin Peaks. SOS, EOS means the license manager, Sentinel, and all other tools that we offer. In the middle, you will find an instruction video for the SIDI license manager. You will need this for each of these tools for NinjaTrader because the entire licensing process will take place via, on the right side, you will find a form to register a demo. You must first enter your email and your number on this page. This is to protect us from spam and also to check that a demo license is only registered once. This is therefore tied either to the email or to the telephone number. Both are compared. Your email address will later also be your login. So take an email address to which you have access in any case, because this is where your password will be sent later. I will now go through this step once so that I can show you the next page. As soon as you have filled in this information, please click on Continue. You will then receive an SMS. First, which may take a few seconds. Once you have received it, you will find a code there, which you can enter here. Next, you will receive an email, SAND. So please also check your email inbox. Also like the spam, but usually it goes straight through, and then enter this code here. You will then be taken to the actual registration page. Please enter your data here, which you would like to use later for the demo. As soon as you have entered this data here, you can select the products below. 2001 email and telephone number have been taken over from the previous step. Otherwise, please note that a demo registration is only possible once. You will then have all the products we offer here for which you can request a demo. If you would like to test Sentinel, then please select only Sentinel, nothing else, because Sentinel already contains other products. If we look at Sentinel here on the left-hand side, then the footprint, the volume levels, the SIDI swing indicator, and the wig finder are already included here, because Sentinel works directly with these tools. Once you have done this, click here on Submit, and then you will receive an email with username and password, which you will then need for the license manager. We will now look at the whole thing directly in NinjaTrader. As soon as you have registered and downloaded Sentinel on the previous page, and above all downloaded the license manager, you will have two zip files on your computer. One is the SIDI license manager and the other is the Sentinel zip file. You must now install these. You do this via Tools. When importing NinjaScript add-on, please start with the license manager. It always takes a little while until the whole thing opens after clicking on it. We then look here in our downloads and find our SIDI license manager. That's this one here. I'll close the other one so that it doesn't confuse you. And we then have the current version here. I'll see if I have a newer one. Here is and depending on when you log in, you may have already downloaded a newer version. So select it, click on Open here. I have already done this here, but I will be happy to install it again for you. You will then receive this message that this NinjaScript add-on will be started automatically. You confirm this with yes. Even if you may already have an older version, depending on, please confirm all these windows with yes. You don't have to worry. That fits. These messages are simply normal. If you are already using tools from us or perhaps have already installed USAN, then these messages will appear. If you are new to this, then logically, this message will not appear. I'll go through all this with you now. Then it will take a moment, and then you will usually get a confirmation that everything has worked. You will only get this error here if you have already installed this SIDI license manager. you can ignore it completely. Unfortunately, this cannot be prevented. This has to do with the fact that we have installed a check routine to see whether there is a newer version or not. So please ignore this error completely. You will pass this with OK, and NinjaTrader will then ask you to restart once. I will do this once now, and then I will see you again in a moment. As soon as you have restarted NinjaTrader, you will find this entry SIDI license manager under New. Please click here, and this window will open. In this window, you can now enter your email address and your password, which you received by email. I have created an account here for testing with our email address. We'll use the generic password. Here, when you see the video, this has already been deleted, so you don't have to try it out. If you have done this, please click on Save, and then you will also receive this message that this data has been saved internally. This means you don't have to keep re-entering it. Then click on Reload USAND, and your current licenses will be loaded from the server. If you have registered here for the Sentinel beta test, then you have released the Sentinel here once, footprint, swing, volume levels, and rig finder. You can also always see which email address this is registered to. It matches this one here. And you can also see that it is a demo, and until when it is valid, we will adjust this accordingly when the beta phase ends. You can also always see how many instances you can load at the same time, because depending on how you work, whether you perhaps have a laptop and perhaps another virtual computer or whatever, perhaps another stationary computer, then you can always load Sentinel once. There are also very different tools load once, but you are not tied to your machine ID as with many other plugins. This means you are very flexible. You can log in anywhere at any time with the license manager, enter your data and then use the licenses there. Once you have done this, you can close this window and you don't have to do this every time you start the program. It all happens automatically in the background. Next, let's take a look at and see how to install Sentinel. To install Sentinel, we also go to Tools, Import, NinjaScript Add-on. Then we have Sentinel Beta Test here accordingly. Depending on when you watch the video, you can already see a new version number here. Please select it, click on Open, and then you will get some messages again, but you can ignore them. Let me show you once. We click here on Open, or on Open. And then messages will appear here if you already have an older version. There are some error messages here. Please confirm all of these with yes. Depending on which tools you may have already used, there could be many messages here. Unfortunately, this cannot be prevented at present. We therefore all confirm this with yes. We then wait a moment and receive a message. NinjaTrader now asks us to restart, and we do so accordingly. As soon as you have restarted NinjaTrader, Sentinel and all other tools are installed. We provide you with a chart template in our Discord server, the link for which you received on the last page of the registration form. Simply open a new chart and load it. I will now show you how to do this. We go to New to Chart. Now I'll just take the NASDAQ and just take the 5-minute chart. Load the whole. And then you have a download file. I'll show you this once. You have downloaded the file. TPTE Sentinel start from our Discord. This file must now be moved. And I do this here once via Ctrl-C, then go to Documents, NinjaTrader 8, then Templates, Chart, and insert it here accordingly. As you can see, I already have the file in there. It is stored here. As soon as it is there, you can right-click here in the chart, go to Templates, go to Load, and here you can now see all the files 2001 that you have already stored. In this folder, here is our TPT Sentinel start file. I click on Load. This takes a little while, and then all the indicators that we use here and that are also supplied with Sentinel and the configuration are loaded. I have opted for a bright color scheme here, as I find this very pleasant for training purposes. It comes back a little, can make it a little smaller here, and you can already see the SIDI footprint indicator here. These lines here are from the SIDI volume levels indicator. If we push it together a bit, we also see a few more levels, something like the VBWAP value area, and even more. If we make it correspondingly smaller, then we see here, from the contract of the week, corresponding levels, which we can also use in Sentinel. So, we now look again at where the price is. And for an overview, we have simply hidden a bit Ask Display here, in. Then we see here imbalances, green and red, and if we have unfinished auctions, then we also see this, because we then have these orange numbers here at the end. The volume POG has a black frame, just so that you can orientate yourself a bit in the chart here. Now we want to put Sentinel itself here in the chart. I'll make the control window a little smaller. I also recommend that you arrange it so that you can see the Strategies tab here in the control window, because Sentinel will then work above. Now click on Strategies, or Ctrl S on the right-hand side of the chart. Then we see the Twin Peaks folder here. Open the Sentinel, and then we see this add-on here. We click here on Add, and have now added it to the chart. By default, you can now see all the settings here, what these settings do in detail about it. You can find more videos in the playlist where we go through everything in detail. If you have loaded Sentinel in the chart for the first time, I recommend that you make the following settings and save them. This will make your life much easier later on. I'll start from the top down. Activate Sentinel bot should be active in automation. Entry filter general, on booth. This handles both trade directions. The next real order type is either MKT, market, of touch, which is comparable to a limit order. Then we have stop market or stop market, OCO here. I recommend that you always set this to stop market. Everything stays here. Then we have the engine section. Make sure that auto trading enabled is activated here. And auto trading mode is set to booth. This will show historical and real-time trades. Otherwise, you will find the setting under general, how many days can be loaded or calculated. I have set this to 2 for now so that it works faster. If you set this to 0, all chart days will be calculated. Then under license, very important, please enter your name here as long as the beta test is running, because only then will Sentinel also start, and the whole thing is then linked to the license via Discord. So this should fit accordingly via, as long as this is empty, send will not start and an error message will appear. Once you have made these settings, go to template, go to save, and then go to save as default. These settings are then always available by default and are applied when loading in the chart. And die. Once you have done the whole thing here, click on OK. And you will now also find the strategy Sentinel here, the corresponding instrument, in this case our NASDAQ. And if I now go to enable here, then it takes a little while something is calculated. Since we have not yet configured, we don't see anything yet, but Sentinel itself already starts. And in the basic configuration, the whole thing looks like this. We now have the configuration menu for the live application on the right-hand side of. This means that we have an overview at the top of the instrument, the account, whether we have an open position, and where our PL is currently located. Some data, which can be very helpful for us, especially this yellow number, is the delay 2001 IEE, the chart offset or the lag. This allows us to see very clearly whether we might have a poor internet connection. We have a lot of settings here that we can go through in detail later and work with. What is important to understand here is that we have various icons at the top of the bar that we can use to make direct settings, once for the volume levels, for the rig finder, for the footprint, and here for Sentinel itself. If I click on this, our configuration window opens, which we will be working with in the next videos. Here, we then set all the settings for Sentinel. We'll see you again in the next video, and then I'll show you how to make this configuration here. See you soon.